All right, this week I want to try and shed a little light on a confusing and kind of prophetic passage from the book of Ezekiel. This one's a very popular passage. You'll hear from Discovery Channel to History Channel, all kinds of even secular media have covered this, and it's Ezekiel's vision of the wheel within a wheel, right? And so I believe that this passage gets a lot of press. I mean, you'll see it on alien shows. Did Ezekiel see visions of aliens? You'll hear all kinds of interpretations about what this passage means. And so I'd like to give a little biblical background and hopefully try and remove some of the mystery behind this passage. So really there's two kind of components to this vision. One is he sees within the wheel within a wheel, these figures that have four heads. It has a head on one side like a man, on the other side like a lion, one side like an ox, and one side like an eagle. And then you have the wheel within the wheel that has all of these eyes around it. And so I think if we understand the biblical history, right, of the nation of Israel a little bit, we can shed some light on this passage, and I think we can remove a lot of the mystery surrounding its interpretation, right? So the first thing we have to know, if we're going to interpret this passage, deals with the figures of the four heads, right? So that's what I'm going to deal with in this video, is what that means. And so in order to understand this, it's important to look back all the way to the time of Moses, when Israel was organizing themselves around the ark while they were traveling through the wilderness. God gave them specific instructions on how to set up their camp. And so it was essentially looked like a cross out in the wilderness, right? So foreshadowing Jesus' cross all the way back in the wilderness were the camps of the Israelites. And so they had one group going out to the east, one to the west, one to the north, and one to the south, just like the ark, or just with the ark in the middle rather, just like a cross. And so out in the wilderness, then you've got this large camp of Israel going all the way out to the east, west, north, and south. And on each side were three tribes, right? And each of these tribes, a head tribe was selected, right, from each of these groups of three. And they had what were called standards, right? And a standard was a big flag that they would raise that had a picture on it that represented the tribe. And so each of the tribes had their own picture. And so this is what the Bible means when it says, when the enemy comes in like a flood, the Lord will lift up a standard against them. The Lord's saying that when the standard, the flag was raised, it meant that the army was ready to assemble. So that's kind of what that passage means. And so the same thing was going on in Israel's camp, that they had three tribes on each side with a head tribe, and each of these tribes had their own standard, their own flag. And on their flag was a symbol that represented their tribe. So this is where we get the terminology, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, that along with some of them would choose their standard from prophecies, perhaps Jacob's prophecy at the end of Genesis influenced their choice a lot of times. So Jacob's prophecy about the lion in the tribe of Judah influenced them to choose the lion as their standard, right? And so the tribe of Judah would raise up this big flag that had a picture of a lion on it, and that was the call for the tribe of Judah to assemble, and then they were the head tribe that would lead out, and the other two tribes on their side would follow them, and this was the order of the movement throughout the wilderness time of Moses. So the reason all of that is important is because on the north, south, east, and west, on all four sides, there were three tribes, and out of those three, there was one tribe that was the head that whenever it was time to leave, would leave first. And so the standards of those four tribes, the flags that they would raise when it was time to leave, are important. So we have Judah was one, we know that, the Lion of the tribe of Judah. One of the other ones down to the south was Reuben. And Reuben, being the firstborn, chose as his standard the face of a man, because he was the firstborn son. And then on the west, you had Ephraim, and Ephraim was strong like the ox. That was Ephraim's symbol, that they were the mighty bull, the strong ox. And then to the north, you had the tribe of Dan, who during that time were taking the symbol of an eagle. Later, they migrated to a symbol of a serpent, which might reflect why Also in the book of Revelations, the tribe of Dan is no longer mentioned, even though they were a head tribe during the time of Moses. So it's kind of interesting then that you have these 4 flags that were raised when it was time for the nation of Israel to move and to migrate. And so the 4 flags were the lion of the tribe of Judah, the face of a man from Reuben, the strong ox of Ephraim, and the eagle of the tribe of Dan. And so in Ezekiel, when Ezekiel says that he sees this figure that has on one side the head of a man, on the other the head of a lion, on the other the head of an ox, and on the other the head of an eagle, it is not some mysterious thing that is just some alien creature. It is a reference to the nation of Israel, because that is how the nation of Israel organized itself in the wilderness, and as it was still camping under the leadership of Moses with the ark at the center. This was the organizational structure of the nation. And so understanding that is the first key to understanding what Ezekiel is seeing in this vision and what God is trying to show him. Perhaps the more important key, though, once you understand that that central figure is Israel, perhaps the more important key is then understanding what is the wheel within the wheel. And so I have an answer for that one as well, but it's a little too long to put on this video. So if you come back next week, I will give you some insight into what this wheel within a wheel is designed to represent.